In the middle of a massive zombie outbreak spreading across the world, the Fantastic Four arrive at the spire. Reed Richards is determined to find a cure before it's too late. As he prepares to leave the flying car, the Fantastic Car, he reflects on how much his team means to him. Without them, he knows he would have lost himself in science, forgetting what it means to be a human. As Reed steps out, Johnny makes a grim comment. This might be their last mission together. Sue, worried for her husband, begs him to let them stay with him and help. Instead of shutting them out like usual, Reed wants to say yes, but he can't afford any distractions. He has only 7 days to stop the virus. Ben stops forward and tells Reed he understands the stakes. The world is depending on him. Reed places a hand on Ben's shoulder and admits it'll be strange not having him as a co-pilot. He then turns to Johnny, proud of the man he's become, and shakes his hand. Finally, Sue hugs him tightly, afraid this might be their last moment together. Then, just like that, they leave and Reed is left alone to save the world. Inside his lab, Reed's AI assistant Herbie is ready to help. It has already run billions of simulations. Reed reminds Herbie of their tight deadline. They review the virus's early symptoms first. Infected people lose their appetite, then their skin starts to break down, followed by fever, dementia, and finally death. Knowing this, Reed gets straight to work, locking himself in with no distractions. After a full day, he has barely made any progress when a call comes in from Tony Stark. Reed only allows himself 2 minutes off outside communication per day, so he answers quickly. Tony doesn't waste time. He asks Reed if he remembers their old joke about Mole Man being the last surviving human. Turns out it wasn't a joke. An infected broke into Mole Man's colony and wiped everyone out. Reed feels a pang of sadness. Mole Man had always wanted to be accepted by the heroes. Reed told Tony it looked like he was now the last of the surviving humans due to his Iron Man suit being a completely sealed environment. Tony explains that his Iron Man suit is keeping him safe since it's completely sealed. He had tried to make similar suits for others, but people were too afraid to wear them. Before Tony can continue, Reed cuts him off. He only has 8,000 minutes left and he just wasted 2 on small talk. 2 days pass and Reed is already feeling the strain. Herbie wakes him up, reminding him he has only 10 minutes to eat. To stay focused, Reed eats only tasteless food and drinks awful beverages. He doesn't want to waste time craving good meals. He also programmed Herbie to remind him when to eat and shower, knowing he would forget. But even with these precautions, exhaustion is setting in. After 72 hours, Reed suddenly jolts awake with the realization he isn't affected because the cosmic rays that gave him his powers also slowed his metabolism. That means the answer to curing the virus could be exposing people to cosmic rays. Without hesitation, Reed tells Herbie to cancel all meals and sleep. He now knows how to save humanity. As he works frantically, Herbie interrupts again. It's a call from Reed's children, wanting to say goodnight. But Reed refuses. He calls them back once the work is done. On the 4th day, Reed finally has the breakthrough he's been searching for. He calls Tony excited. He's done it, he's found a cure. He tells Tony to download Herbie's data to begin mass production. Holding up the beaker with the vaccine, Reed smiles, knowing he can finally go home. But Tony doesn't celebrate. Instead, he delivers devastating news. A zombified superpowered being attacked and wiped out the rest of the Fantastic Four. Reed was at the battle. They won, but the world lost the Fantastic Four. Shocked, Reed thinks back to when he arrived at the spire with his team. And then it hits him. The virus had already infected his mind. His team was never really there. He had been hallucinating the entire time. On his final day, Reed climbs to the rooftop of the spire. He thinks about all the enemies he has defeated. Dr. Doom, Puppet Master, even Galactus. But this time, he lost to an enemy he never saw coming. Herbie finds him and reminds him it's time for his next meal. But Reed just shakes his head. I'm not hungry. He asks Herbie to clean up after him when the time comes. With nothing left to live for, Reed finally lets the virus take over his mind and body. And then just like that, the world loses its last hope.